The concept of forcing the tempo in questioning someone refers to the idea of disrupting the person's thought process by quickly following up one question with another. This tactic can be useful if you suspect that the person is lying or attempting to deceive you, as it can make it more difficult for them to stick to their story. However, it's important to use this tactic with caution. It can be easy to come across as aggressive or confrontational, which can make the person defensive or more likely to lie. It's important to maintain a respectful and professional demeanor, even if you suspect that the person you're questioning is not being truthful. There is some scientific evidence to support the effectiveness of this tactic. Research has shown that when people are put under time pressure, they are more likely to make errors and less likely to think critically about their responses. This is because the brain's cognitive resources are limited, and when we are under time pressure, we are more likely to rely on automatic or habitual responses rather than carefully considering our options. For example, in a study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, researchers found that when participants were given only a limited amount of time to solve a problem, they were more likely to make errors and less likely to come up with creative solutions. Similarly, another study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that when people were asked to make quick decisions, they were more likely to rely on stereotypes and less likely to consider all of the available options. While these studies suggest that increasing the pace of questioning can be an effective tactic, it's important to use it wisely. It's a good idea to have a clear goal in mind for the conversation and to carefully listen to the person's responses. If you notice any inconsistencies or discrepancies in their story, you can ask follow-up questions to try and clarify the situation. One way to do this is to use open-ended questions, which encourage the person to provide more detailed and comprehensive responses. For example, instead of asking a closed-ended question like "Did you steal the money?" you could ask an open-ended question like "What happened when you were in the office yesterday?" This allows the person to provide more context and potentially reveal any inconsistencies in their story. If you can gather a critical mass of inconsistencies, you can ask a pointed, contradicting question to try and get to the bottom of the matter. For example, if the person has provided conflicting accounts of their whereabouts on the day in question, you could ask a direct question like "Earlier, you said that you were at the store at 2 p.m., but now you're saying that you were at the park. Can you explain the discrepancy?" It's also important to be aware of your own biases and assumptions when questioning someone. It's easy to jump to conclusions or interpret someone's responses in a way that aligns with our preconceived notions. By approaching the conversation with an open mind and being willing to consider alternative explanations, we can more effectively get to the truth. In summary, the tactic of forcing the tempo in questioning can be an effective way to disrupt the person's thought process and potentially reveal inconsistencies in their story. However, it's important to use this tactic with caution and to approach the conversation with respect and an open mind. By carefully listening to the person's responses and asking follow-up questions, we can more effectively get to the truth.